right, we're back. We're back. SportsMark nosebleed section is back. Huh. Night two of the draft is just 35 minutes away. What's going on, fellas? Back for another day of punishment, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, yes. But I do want to start the episode saying, one, not an excuse. I was a little drunk last night. I may have said some things about a certain individual that were very hurtful. No, I do not want to punt kick children all the time. No, I definitely did say some very hurtful things to a specific community. So sincerely, I apologize to anyone who may or may not have been offended. But in my defense, we do not need 20 minutes to announce a 5-minute freaking pick. Just saying. Tighten it up, guys. Keep it tight.
It's all right, guys. After this show, this will be our last because Jay's getting us canceled. But anyway, while we're here,
It ain't him,
while
it's
we're,
gonna be me.
yeah, that too. You're pretty bad. While we're here, though, night one reactions. Night one initial reactions. Good, the bad, the ugly, surprises. It's open forum, so I'll go first. And my biggest surprise, I'm gonna say the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. That was a did not expect that to happen. That was a big shocker to me. So that's gonna be mine. Again, they had DeAndre. So, I mean, it makes sense because reports came out today about the teams are already calling the lines about the availability of DeAndre Swift. So, yo, June, what up? What up? Just doing a quick reactions video from what night one, night two's really coming up in 33 minutes to be exact. But yeah, just June, what's your reactions to the night one of the draft? Let us know your thoughts on of course, the Giants, Deontay Banks, as well as everybody else. But yeah, that would be my pick of just like the biggest surprise. Again, you go and you had DeAndre Swift. You just signed David Montgomery. Bijan went 8 to the Falcons. Maybe the Lions would have taken Bijan at 12 if he were there. I mean, you took Gibbs, so like why
They
not
they like
why
they
not take the first
apparently
best running back? Like,
apparently they like Gibbs so much that they would have taken him at 6. That's what they're saying.
they would have taken him where?
They would have taken him at 6. That's how much, because they don't see him as just a running back. They see him as a weapon.
I I get it. I mean, you could put him in the slot and stuff, but whew, June, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. That was probably my biggest surprise.
Their words, not mine.
Yo, yo, I feel you, but like it's just we were talking about this guy potentially being a late first, maybe even a early second round pick. People were looking at him as a second round running back, and now I posed this question to some other content creators last night, but what does this mean for the other running backs in the draft? Like, does it still mean is there going to be like a run earlier, or do you think just because it was those two that it's just going to be those two up there, and then there's going to be a nice big drop off when the next set of running backs goes, and then it's like win because the next two running backs that I really think of that come to mind are Zach Charbonnet and what's the name, Devon Achane. Those are the next two I really think of. So that was like my thoughts on it. It's just like I get the Bijan pick. I mean, 8 was still a big surprise with the Falcons at 8.
I thought
But
they would have traded back and taken him. I thought that was like prime, like, oh, they're about to trade back to 12 and then take him at like 12. But they stuck and picked. I was like, oh, okay, they must really like this guy.
yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, June. I like Tajay Spears too, but I see a lot of people putting again Charbonnet, A-Chain. People are even putting Chase Brown over Tajay Spears lately now. So I mean, let it happen. Let it happen. Let the Giants get Tajay in the fourth. I'll be happy. That's fine. That's it. Jay, what was your biggest takeaway, or I guess, or surprise from last night?
Um, Outside of the Jets taking Will McDonald at 15, which I was very upset about. Now I'm kind of just indifferent to it. Like, I understand it. I understand where their heads are in terms of that. I still don't necessarily agree with it, but I get it.
Mm,
I think to me it was the Texans trading up to 3, take Will Anderson. Not that Will Anderson isn't worth the 3, but that the Texans had the cojones to be like, you know what, we know everybody's talking about the edge rusher. We know D'Amico wants the edge rusher. We know the fans want the edge rusher. We're going to go get the edge rusher after Nick Caserio gets his guy. And they have so much draft capital that it's like, yes, they paid a lot, but they had a lot to pay. You know? So I think it was just the draft day movie-esque move from the Texans to get their starting quarterback and then like their centerpiece on defense.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, like they're fully turning the page from JJ Watt and Deshaun Watson, and like this is the new era. And I'm like, I can respect it. Like I can 100% respect it. I know a lot of people probably didn't agree with it because there are those pundits who don't think Will Anderson is all that in terms of upside. But I mean, if that's who you think your guy is, then I just got blocked again. Anyway, I got blocked. I got blocked by the damn windmill.
Oh my god! What was your biggest surprise?
To me, the biggest surprise was honestly, it was the Texas thing. But like, if you want to be making something different than what that was, it was the lack of receivers until the very end of the first round, because you did not get a single receiver taken until Seattle took JSN at 20. Now, with all the talk about positional value and things like that, and how it is that the position value of the running backs has been diminished so much, you had two taken in the top 12. On top of the fact that you didn't get a single receiver taken until 20, and then there were 4 consecutive. I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at it like, bro, what does that say? Does that say that Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs were just that much better than everybody thought? Or does it say that the wide receiver class was just that underwhelming?
I think it says the latter, because a lot of what a lot of GMs and executives were saying was like, well, there was no reason to reach. Like, they was like, why did JSN drop? There was no reason to reach. And I'm like, damn, not even at like 12? Like 20 is now considered not a reach for JSN? 20.
It's wild.
20. Okay.
It's absolutely wild. And if you want to bring up anything else, it's the fact that like you had guys that were taken way out of what the rankings actually were. I don't know, Joe, you were going to jump on that one afterwards, but a certain Washington team.
I was really getting ready to talk about that. That was my next one.
I will say, even Will McDonald was surprised the Jets called him. He said he was expecting his name called in the 20s to like the late rounds, and he was shocked that he saw the Jets number at 15. I'm like, bro, you were all you. I mean, like everybody else. Everybody was just like,
yo, you saw me and Benji's reaction. Like, we were sitting at Oak, just like, and we then like, and we were waiting for you because you were delayed. We were just like, and you were like, yo, don't tell me. And all you saw, you should have, like, as soon as you saw Paul's head go down, I was like, damn, yo, like, what? Like, again, good player, like, athletic as hell. The video of him jumping over the truck is crazy. All that is great. It's crazy, but like, again, every mock, every ranking we saw, everything had Will McDonald going 27 to 31 range, like around there. Maybe going to like the Chiefs or something like that, and it's just like, whoa, you at 15.
You know what? What it is that like the it's not even the fact that we went edge. I think that's not the shock.
It's just where
it's not even that we went edge at 15. That's not necessarily because there were hints at like it could be Nolan Smith, it could be Miles Murphy. There were always those signs of like, if these guys aren't there, you guys could go edge just to make a strength a superpower. I think one, it was Will McDonald of all people, and it just goes to show how. But then when you actually take a step back and you're like, okay, think about the 49ers / Seattle defense. Think about that Hassan Reddick type, Brian Burns type, that Randy Gregory type of player. then it all starts to make sense where it's like, okay, we were just misvaluing Will McDonald. And Will McDonald's production wasn't there because Iowa played him inside at 239, which
I mean, he played it. I don't know why he was inside, but I mean, he did.
That's just what Iowa wanted. They played him at the 5I, and Saleh, when he called him, was like, "Yeah, let's get you out of the 5I and get you in a wide 9." I'm like, okay, so there's clearly a plan here. Like, there's a plan. So that was always my biggest thing is like, what's the play here? Like, what's the plan? But then you kind of start thinking like, okay, you have Carl Lawson on his last year of his contract. You have Huff on a tenure, right? Both those guys can go, and then that's what, like 20 some odd million off the bench, off the books, versus a guy that you're paying to be the 15th pick. So I'm like, money, it makes sense. Fit, it makes sense. Role, we're not sure yet, but everything else about this kind of makes sense. And then you get the guy can catch. He used to, in practice, he used to guard Brees in college. So you have the versatility of like, hey, you want to get fancy with the scheme, we can stand this guy up and he can be a delivery rusher. Or like if it's a quick pass, like he can cover the off situation that like you have an extra offensive lineman that's playing as a tight end, or you have a bigger tight end that's gonna, eke out. He can cover that guy. He can get a pick. He can get a deflection. The guy gets strip sacks in his sleep.
He's very productive at Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, he broke Von Miller's sack record, his yearly sack record in that conference. So for me, and then on top of that, he just started playing football. Like, dude started playing football in his junior year. So it's like, when you take a step back and it's like, who the hell is this guy? And you start to understand the connection with the franchise, the role he'll play, his body type, his superpowers in a lot of ways. The pick starts to make a lot more sense. And you're just like, okay, we're making a strength a superpower. You're going to have him and Jermaine out there, and you're just going to let them go off. You're going to have Carl out there. You're going to have him, Jermaine, and Carl and Huff and just going off. And then you're going to have the inside rushers. So now you really can't double team anybody, which means all of our rushers get to use their superpowers in a lot of ways. So I'm like, okay, when you kind of take a step back and you can process it, and it's like, okay, how do I see him in this scheme? How do I see him being used in this way? It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense than we wanted to give the front office credit for initially. Now, I'll be the one to say, I also kind of freaked out when this happened with Zach Wilson. Turns out I was right, but I feel like it's okay to freak out, but then like you take a second, you sleep on it, and it's like, okay, it's not terrible. I'm curious to see what else they do in the draft. That's really where I'm at with it. But in terms of shock, that definitely is top 5 in terms of shock of this draft.
Yeah, you guys that definitely ranked up there for me. Like I said, I was gonna go Lions. I would say y'all. I wasn't too surprised by the Texans. I mean, it wasn't like I initially, like, you watch, I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. I like what they're doing. So I wasn't too like, oh, that's crazy. Like, it was like that. I like what you're doing. You're going and getting aggressive. Yeah, like Benji, hinted at the Commanders taking Emmanuel Forbes. That was
before
a
Joey
surprise
Porter
too.
and before Christian Gonzalez. That was another one we didn't talk about.
And Deontay Banks.
Well, that's the thing. Deontay Banks was always projected to go somewhere in the late teens, early 20s. So
Emmanuel Forbes was not ranked to go.
Emmanuel Forbes was one of those dudes where it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be fair with Forbes, like, everything that I had heard about Emmanuel Forbes leading up to the draft is if Emmanuel Forbes weighed 185 pounds and still did everything else that he did, he would probably be the best corner.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, like, I don't see him being able to, like, he may very well be able to hold up, but you're going to see a problem this year. The NFC East plays the NFC West this year, which means every single one of us has to play Seattle, which means somebody got to line up against DK Metcalf. And if
It's
that
gonna
ends
be
up
him.
being Forbes,
It's not gonna be him. Like that's one of those
I mean,
you
I
just
mean, along with the fact that again, he's gonna face our receivers, he's gonna face the Eagles receivers, and he's gonna face the Cowboys receivers. So,
mm-hmm.
like, it's gonna be tough for him. Like I said, he's 170 right now.
Yeah.
I think he
Not
is, or
only that,
100.
I can't look it up right now
he's
because I'm
not even
using
100.
No, he
the
weighed in at 170
No, he was 100.
after the combine he came
Oh,
in
I
his
was
pro
about to
day
say
higher.
that like 166 last time I
He was
saw him.
166 at the combine. He went to his pro day, and I believe the last I read, he went up to 173 around there.
Hmm.
like the one thing they like I need to check, but I can't do it right this second because I don't have access to anything to actually do it. Who does
What?
Washington play from the AFC West this year? Because that's how they're
Pull it up
doing the
right now.
17th game. Yeah, how they're doing the 17th game is you play a rival conference and then you match up against somebody in that rival conference. We got Vegas. If they might, I'm pretty sure they might be playing Denver because I think they ended up in that same position.
And what week? 16?
No. What I'm saying is the 17th game. Because the way they do everything else, you play a division in your conference, you play a division out of the conference, and then the 17th game is the other conference, but it's
The
another
Bears.
division.
The
They
Bears.
got the Broncos too.
All right, that's what I said. It's the Broncos. I was like, my
Broncos
thing was, what happens if they also end up against the Chargers,
Mm.
who just drafted Quentin Johnston? Like,
to go along with
Keenum.
Keenan Allen and Michael Williams. Michael
yeah,
Williams.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna be a wake up for him. Like, I don't want to sit up here and just immediately say that the dude is never gonna be good. It's just a matter of like I worry about him playing the way that he plays. Because, like I said, everything that I've heard, all of the reports and everything, he plays with reckless abandon. He's going to throw himself in there. But when you're throwing
Respect.
yourself in there against wide receivers that weigh 230 pounds and you're 70 pounds lighter than them, like,
It might be some neck contusions in there, ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
like I said, I'm just hoping that his body's able to hold up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
he could just be strong, skinny. Like he might just be one of those skinny dudes
Yeah.
that are ungodly strong.
that's all. That's true too. That's true. So Jay, what do you? Since we're both Giants fans, me and Biddy, Jay. I mean, look, we're almost done. We're not gonna go nothing crazy. But Jay,
No.
what are you looking for tonight? Like, I know you guys have what? You only have a second round pick or a third round pick? What do you?
No,
Second, third round.
we only have
Second.
43 right now.
So what are you looking for? Because you guys are gonna be
Um,
up there kind of early.
I'm looking for a there's a wide variety that I'd be like, okay, I get it. I would love to get Brian Branch or Keanu Benton
Okay.
from a defensive standpoint.
They didn't skyrocket upwards, yo.
Yeah, I know.
Skyrocketed
It's
upwards.
it's annoying as hell. From an offensive standpoint, obviously the bell of the ball, JMS. A lot more people are high on Tippmann. I'm just him being 6'6" scares me in terms of a leverage standpoint and trying to drop his anchor as a center.
Can you imagine being 6'6" and you have to guard like Aaron Donald
or Kalijah Kancey now?
Yeah, or Cansey. 5'11", just getting up under your pads and just lifting you up off your feet.
Yeah, so I'm more partial to Steve Avila, honestly. I want to look at Siaki Ika, but I just based on the way he moved, he doesn't really fit the front that we have right now.
I feel like he'd be like Vita Vea light for you, though. I feel like he'd at least be like
but he doesn't fit what Salah and whoever the
I dig it.
Now I don't remember his name. I really don't. Who they the type of players that they would go for. So like I think possibly looking at a pass catcher would be nice. I don't think that they will. just because I firmly believe that they are confident in the pass catchers that they have. What I am curious to see is if we, because we just got Will McDonald, like, do we then trade Lawson? Do we then trade Huff? Like, do we move on from Corey Davis? Because I know they said Corey Davis is a big part of it, but you look at the receivers we have, like, I don't know who's going to play slot.
I'm surprised Corey Davis is still on your team, to be honest. At this
You and
juncture.
everybody else that's not in that building.
Word.
Another guy, I guess. The tackle from BYU,
Blake Freeland.
Blake Freeland, Tyler Steen.
I feel like second round high for Steen.
It is, but I think
got Bergeron out there.
Bergeron is, but again, Bergeron is still more of a project.
I also heard he can convert inside to guard as well.
Yeah, no, and that's a lot of what I'm hearing because he has the short arm syndrome.
If DeJuan Jones,
I don't want DeJuan Jones.
Like, too big.
He's too big, and we literally have just spent the last 3 years dealing with this.
Another 6'8" tackle.
Yeah, and his feet are so heavy. He plays with such heavy feet. Like, at least with Becton, he was the definition of a dancing bear. Like, he was so light on his feet. Jones is just, he's a mountain. He anchors, and that's it. And for that zone blocking scheme, he can't be that. That's why I'm like, Jones doesn't make sense. Because he's big and because he's a tackle doesn't mean we should take him. It's just right. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's got to be a scheme fit thing.
Yeah, which is why I think, again, you look at Steen, you look at Freeland, you look at those guys. Yes, it's a bit of a reach, but, say Branch is gone, Benton is gone. Like, at that point, then you kind of gotta start reaching for guys because, again, the talent at the top isn't great. It's just, this is just a deep class. I wouldn't
Maybe
even
you trade back.
What I'm hearing is that there's a very good chance that they trade back to try to get into like the fourth and the fourth and fourth, fifth, maybe even a third, depending on who's coming up.
Right.
I could definitely see that. And I'd personally prefer that. But if we have to stick and pick, like the only receiver I can really look at and be like, okay, I'd be okay with that would be like Josh Downs. Just because he kind of gives you, like, we have Mecole Hardman, but I still see him more as an outside receiver, not really a slot. Like, he's more speed, less finesse. I feel like Josh Downs is very much a route running finesse kind of player versus his speed and explosiveness. So, that's really just, you have that with Garrett, but Garrett to me is still better suited for the outside, not the slot. So just getting a guy like that in the slot or going and get one of the myriad of tight ends that you can just plug into the slot, I'm also fine with that. If we get a third, I would just say running back is not out of the question. Just throwing it out there. Because apparently we were looking at Jahmyr Gibbs at 15. Like, if he was there at 15, they would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm like, I think that was my face for Will McDonald. I think if we would have had Jahmyr Gibbs, I'd have been like, I mocked him to us in the second round.
In the second round.
That's the definition of luxury pick. But okay. All right.
Vidgy, what are you looking at, Vidgy, for the Giants tonight?
Definitely going center in one of these two rounds, whether it be at 57 or at 89. I don't know which one it is, but we have to address the position because the entire NFC East has dictated, aside from the fact that we needed to fix it, that we need to fix it. Because you have Washington down there with Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen. You have Philadelphia, who just sat up there and decided to draft the entire Georgia Bulldogs defensive line. And then you got Dallas, who finally decided they're like, you know what? Let's address this run defense, and decided to take Mazi Smith. So now, when you have a need on this team that's as glaring as we have, you absolutely have to go and actually take care of what needs to be taken care of. There's no beating around the bush. There's no dancing around the issue anymore. Right? It's about time we get a center on this roster, and I mean somebody that could actually anchor this line and be the leader of this line for the next 10 to 15 years. Like, and I know he wasn't here that long, but the obvious, the obvious person to point to would be Sean O'Hara. Like, I missed that. Like, I
Yeah.
really, really missed that.
Some continuity and just like you said, an anchor that's going to be there, man.
On
I
top
get
of
it.
that, if like on top of that, I honestly don't have that much of a preference for when it comes to outside of fixing the offensive line right now. I know we need to get another linebacker in there. Um, Everybody wants to point at the the wide receiver room, but we have 483 wide receivers on the roster right now, so I don't know if that's going to be that big of a priority.
Cedric Tillman.
I mean, Cedric Tillman is there, obviously.
That's what I would think.
Depending on where they have Hyatt actually ranked, it's a
You want another
question.
midget? Are y'all trying to build Munchkin out there?
No, but that's the thing. What did Joe Shane say? Size isn't what he looks at; it's separation.
Speed and separation.
Yeah, he's not looking at size; he's looking at separation. The other thing is like I always have my dark horse guy for the third round if he's still there. Hutch. I would absolutely love to have Xavier Hutchinson on the roster. The dude he's a dog. And he doesn't get much publicity because it's from Iowa State. But bro, look,
Listen, bro, we got three of them. Don't get me wrong. We got three.
Guys run.
They run.
They run.
We got three of them. I understand.
And
we got three of them.
And you have Brees.
We have three of them.
Oh,
that's all right.
Brees and Alan Lazard all went to Iowa State.
Alan Lazard doesn't count. He came from Green Bay. That's best where y'all drafted him from.
He went to Iowa State.
That's not wrong.
That doesn't count.
Like a cyclone.
This is why we're not staying on here long. It's not going to happen.
But like I said, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Obviously, like day 3, bumper pool has to be picked up. But that's pretty much it.
I almost muted you. Right before the draft is in 8 minutes. Just to show some prospects that are still available. Like you said, Jalen Hyatt, Drew Sanders is still out there, Brian Branch with Musgraves, Josh Downs. There's a lot of names up here, man. Jay, I know we were talking about before Benji even got on. Like Michael Mayer, another kind of surprise name that didn't go. Joey Porter Jr., another one that like kind of surprised some people because he was high on a lot of people's boards supposedly, and then you go from that to people. Again, you were saying before we started this, like Joey Porter's father came out and was just like, he's a little stiff in the hips in his turns, and he gets handsy and he draws flags, and that's a big reason that he was telling his son to go back for another year. You probably would have came out next year and been probably the top.
No, that's why he went back last year instead of coming out last year. That's essentially what it said. That's why he stayed the extra year. But I mean, evidently it didn't help him that much.
I mean, then you got DJ Turner, who's been like one of the bigger risers that's come out of nowhere. The tight end group, again, just besides Dalton Kincaid, need to see where all these tight ends go. Everybody else is available. Like, I think that's going to be a big thing.
Hendon Hooker.
I mean, him Hooker. And Will Levis. Where's Will Levis going to go?
Vegas.
Will Levis, apparently there are strong rumors that Tennessee is trying desperately to trade up with the Steelers. Desperate. But I
saw that.
If they don't move up, then I truly think that at 36, we really have to consider that he's a Ram. Because of his connection to his head coach or a coach that he worked with and Sean McVay. And I'm like, if there's anybody that can fix whatever issues they say that he has, it's Sean McVay.
I'm for the Giants. I'm feeling like round 2 is going to be a center or at least a lineman. The way I'm thinking about it, again, there's Tippmann, There's JMS, and I'm looking to do Cody Mauch too. See where he goes. I
Yeah,
know the Giants.
Yeah.
he might go
The Giants
too.
are really high on him, so
There's a
that's
lot
going
of
to be
teams that
another
are
one.
interior
Yeah,
linemen.
I know, and I think they're talking. But he plays guard, but I know they're probably thinking about moving him into center. I
Well,
don't
I've
know.
heard guard. I've definitely heard guard, but I know he's the perfect size for a center. If they move him to guard, he's gonna have to put weight on.
Yeah, I mean, then there's my boy Thule. So,
I was about to say,
got
last but not least, Thule.
like you already know.
Gotta know where Thule's going.
You
Thule.
already know. I don't. I doubt the Giants are going to take him because we don't get Samoans ever.
We
But
literally just got an edge, and I'm sad because I wanted Thule in the second round. Bad. Oh, I wanted Thule.
that was my boy.
Now
I
I'm
need
double
that
up
guy
on
on the
edge,
Giants.
bro. I'm gonna look like, all right, I'm doing too much.
Yo, if we get Thule on the Giants, I'm getting that Thule Pelosi jersey. I'm telling you now.
I will buy that Thule Pelosi jersey. That'll be the only Giants jersey I ever get. I'm getting that jersey.
I will get a Tui Pelosi jersey if we get Tui tonight. That will be epic. But like I said, the draft is starting in 4 minutes, so we are going to wrap this up. We're not going to go any longer. Just a quick review of last night's events, what unfolded. You know, another one really threw me off real quick. Brian Brzee to the Saints. That one kind of threw me for a little bit.
No, like,
I didn't hear too much about him. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear a lot about him going to the Saints.
yeah, no, they pretty much all I heard about him is that like if he makes it there, like he's the atypical kind of player that they would want. Because again, he's a tough, he's a good run stuffer. He fits right in with that line. He helps them get a little bit younger. They're probably honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the only defensive lineman they take this time around because they need to get younger on that line.
Yeah, I get that.
And
I didn't hear much
we
about him. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
and if they can get him back to like the number one recruit status that he was and really get that talent out of him, because remember, a lot of his college career he was hurt, and then there was the
Yeah.
whole situation with his sister passing. So like they can
Mentally,
get
he
him,
was, and physically, he was out of it.
yeah. So like now he's in a better place mentally. If they can get his body to maximize that potential, like bro,
Yeah.
bro, the Saints could
Well,
get right real quick.
very true. Well, here we go. Night 2 is getting ready to start,
3
so
minutes.
we will say so long for now. Maybe we'll do it again tomorrow. But thanks for everybody for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. Again, hit that like button. That helps us a lot. It helps us more than actually subscribing at this point. But yeah, nosebleed section day 1. We are in the books, and we will be back probably tomorrow. Till then, I hope you guys have a great draft.